And here we are again. I was waiting for it to freeze then. Oh, look at me. I'm all kind of Uncle Festered and bleached out. Let's see if we can do something about that. There we go. That's a little bit better. No doubt I'll need to make running adjustments to that as we go along. But cheers, everyone. It's Friday. We're all here again, gathered around for a flagon of ale. Cheers, everyone. Still on the Carlsberg export. Can't get a hold of the Heineken in the local Morrisons, but I don't care either or. I'm happy with. Right, let's do the usual customary routine and have a look and see who was Teacher's Pet first in. It was Rent to Kill, reclaiming your old title, mate. Excuse me. Then we got Boulder 64 and Terry Day. Boulder says, I'm still here. However, one chimney stack and wood burner flue crashed 30 feet and smashed in the courtyard, and garden shed roof has gone to Norway. Yeah, we've got it windy here as well, mate, but thankfully no disasters like that. Anyway, fingers crossed that is the extent of the damage and it's easily fixed. Then, as I say, Terry Day, we've got Edwin Toonen, who's in Munich. He can't join us today, but he'll watch on replay. Then David James and Dave Fiendish and Theme Tunes is in. So is Frank Bolam, Grandpa Joe. Who says, let me see if I can read it in the small print. Hello, John and fellow Fatacasters. It's been super cold in New York, so cold that chickens are looking for the ovens. Yes, we have a similar expression over here concerning brass monkeys. If you're familiar with that one, you'll know what I'm talking about. Anyway, wishing everyone a happy and safe weekend. Stay home and play your guitar. I intend to, mate. Then we've got Anton and Auto Getting One. Peter Nicholson, and who else we got? We've got Joe McMurray and Malcolm Thompson and Dr. Gomez 1. There's Peter Collins, John McBen, Allmark, and Peter S. We got John Ross, we got Rubbish Guitar Bloke, who's oh dear me, he's had his power off since 6 a.m. this morning. Dear me, yeah. Thankfully, we seem to have escaped all of this carnage and destruction. Anyway, it was still windy. Like, you know, it's took the dog out earlier and it was quite blowy, but nothing beyond what I would call the normal range of wind that we tend to get in Redcar. Is Chris Rea immortalised Redcar in a song called Windy Town. So it's at the sort of upper end of what we kind of become accustomed to here. But it sounds like a lot of other people are getting it particularly severe. Anyway, we've got Paul Trainer, we've got Dave Lewis, we've got Stephen Hedger, Jed Ellis, Cushman NYC, Marcel Cornings, Gary Shaw, who's in Tulsa, Oklahoma, visiting family. Nice that you can tune in from there, mate. Then we got Johnny D, who's down south where storm, I'm not sure how you pronounce this, is it Elwyn or Owen or what, has mersed the storm anyway. The battering winds has left them alone. Hope all those in Ireland, Scotland and England's northern reaches are weathering it out. Yes. Well, we certainly are in Redcar, mate. Anyway, then we've got Nathan, Austin Barrett, Doc Alders, Mickey Walnuts, and Jimmy James. Barry McGee is in, and so is Colin Falcon, local boy, round the corner from me. There's Ian Clark, who won't miss who will miss, rather, the start of the stream because it is Dog's monthly arthritis injection and my embarrassment of a big German shepherd puts on a performance of suffering worthy of an Oscar. Yeah, we know that one. Dougal is something of a drama queen himself. Then we got Chris Ottewell, Far John is in, so is Ian Mason, Cal Texper, John Channing, and Calby and the Rocco Cat. Rent to Kill, there you are again. There's Triple Distilled, Stevie Mack, Graham Campbell, and Ravensmead. We got Brad Dowell, we got my pal there, Steve Cassidy, and Mr. Chris as well. Don't forget, Steve's video goes out straight after this stream finishes, and I believe you got a Starcaster unboxing, mate. I did watch your live stream earlier on today on Catch Up and had a little bit of a chuckle at myself with your pineapple chunks routine. Reminds me of a particularly funny episode of my favourite show, Porridge. But there you go, I won't bore you with that one. We've got Darren Myers and Peter Hall. There's Bill Mumbo Zen234. Searching for Tone is in again. Searching for Tone, if you're not aware of his channel, go and check him out. It's really good entertainment, and he does a lot of giveaways as well. What's not to like? We got Dingers63, Francis Chambers, and who's a lot of people watching on catch up today for various reasons. And we've got Ollie M and anyone else. We've got Fun Loving Ramekin. Fair enough. Triple X Paps is in. The pellet with the poison in the flagon with the dragon. The choice from the palace hold. I have no idea what you're talking about there, Johnny D. But if anyone does, well, good luck to them. And Paul Trainer BSC is in, and thank you very much for the super chat, by the way. Regular as clockwork. This gentleman always puts a couple of quid in the beer fund, and much appreciated it is too. The Gissy 77 in, and anyone else. We've got anyone I haven't mentioned. Sean House is there, and so is Cylon Hybrid. And I think I've said Graham Campbell. If I haven't, I just have. And I think that's pretty much everyone apart from the Blues Rockers, who's saying, tell me a little about your black Les Paul on the wall behind you. I will indeed. I'll recount that story as we go on, mate. We've got Jay Aoyong, we've got Paul Heath, Eric Luttinger, and I believe that's pretty much everyone. Right, the black Les Paul on the wall is not a Les Paul. It is a particularly cheaply made 1970s satellite brand of Les Paul. I believe they were also sold under the brand Columbus in other territories. And one of those, except in a sunburst version, was my my second ever electric guitar. It was the first ever electric guitar I gigged with, though. And I mentioned it from time to time on the channel and said I had fond but realistic memories of it. Nostalgia value and everything for that awful guitar that you had, but you kind of loved it so much at the time because it was an electric guitar and it looked a bit like a famous guitarist's guitar, and you loved it for that. And a very kind and generous chap called Neil, who is the dad of one of my students, basically just turned up at the door one day because he lives local to me, and said, there you go, there's a satellite Les Paul copy. You mentioned it often enough on the channel. There's one. He'd found one, he'd sourced it, he'd bought it, and he just gave it to me as a gift. And it's in terms of it being a musical instrument, it is shall we say, not the greatest, and it's not made from the most noble of materials, but I adore it. I love the bones of it because of the gift that it represents, the sentiment behind it, and the nostalgia value that comes along with it for my old sunburst satellite Les Paul that I took my first gigging steps with back in 1970, when will it have been? 80, 81, sometime around then. So there you go. That's the story behind that guitar. Let's have a look, see what's going on in the chat, and just charge up my lungs. Let's have a look, see who else has been. Peter Hall, satellite Les Paul was my first guitar. Black with the plywood peeping through. Yeah, that one's got the same sort of ply. You look on the side and you can see the laminate, and it adds to its charm, really. Triple Distilled is saying his first ever electric was a black Columbus. Paul Heath is saying, I've got a reader's wife's first guitar to send you in the week. Okay, yes, if you could kind of dig out some more pictures of guitars that you either own or have owned, or even, let's broaden the category. Let's kind of talk about guitars that you would like to own. I've got a little bit of news on that score myself later on. if I remember to tell you all about it. Uh, Other first guitars there, Watkins Rapier. My first ever guitar was a K steel string student folk acoustic with an action like a hard-boiled egg slicer. And that's where I first learned my first two chords, D and A7. And I think because I also mastered the F chord and bar chords on that guitar, I think that's kind of stood me in good stead. And then luxury beyond belief, I got an electric guitar, a Woolworths Top 20, after I'd been playing about 3 months. And that was my first electric guitar, plugged into the mic socket on my Amstrad Hi-Fi, or stereo, or music centre, as we used to call them in those days. And then I progressed from that onto the satellite. And then I should do a video, really, about every single guitar that I've owned. I might have to, I don't have photos of them all, but I could find pictures of the same make and model. That might be an idea to do. And I think I can just about remember them because I did do a lot of horse trading with guitars for a while, where I'd own a guitar for like a week and then move it on. But yes, we might have to do something along those lines. Be an interesting little trip down memory lane for me, and probably boring as hell for everybody watching, but I might just do it anyway. Anyway, I'm kind of slacking here. I need to tell you what's. Oh, and there we go. There's a plectrum on the floor. Funnily enough, it didn't turn the same colour as the carpet. They usually do, don't they? Yeah, I'm going to tell you what's coming up on the channel this week. On Sunday, as you'll have probably gathered if you were watching yesterday, it's the full-on review of that rather nice Epiphone Nighthawk that you saw me doing an unboxing and first impressions of yesterday. Sunday is the review of that video, and I got one more video with that guitar coming up in the next week or two. Well, anyway, that's all for another day. So that's Sunday's video. Monday is a little bit of kind of fretboard knowledge, learning where notes are on the fretboard, all wrapped up in a little bit of minor blues soloing. So that's Monday's video. Just want another one of these kind of little lead guitar tips and tricks lessons that I do every other week. Tuesday is a video that I thought I had made. I genuinely thought I'd done this video. It's certainly been a video that I've thought about doing for a while, and I thought at some point I'm bound to have done it, but it turns out I searched through my entire channel and it's not there, so it's going to be there on Tuesday. What video is it? Well, it's a top 5 video, as you would expect, being a Tuesday, and it's going to be about my top 5, my short list of favourite rock sax solos, and it contains probably the obvious one that is apparently Baker Street. Let's not mince words here. Apparently, that is the one. It's like the sort of sax equivalent of Stairway to Heaven. You just don't play that when you're trying out a new instrument. Then on Wednesday, as I have hinted at and mentioned and spoken about a little bit in sort of broad brushstrokes in previous live streams, I'm making a new album, and Wednesday is all about planning that album, what's going to be on it, what the tracks are all going to be about and everything. So that's Wednesday's video. Then on Thursday, and that's the kind of video I would normally do on a Thursday, that sort of wildcard video, but it made sense to kind of swap them around this week and do the songwriting kind of slightly kind of lessony sort of video on putting a track together. That's on Thursday. So on Thursday you're going to see me putting together the basic track for the first tune on the album. So there we go. That's what's coming up on the channel this week. So Will You must be on the sax list. You'll just have to go and you'll just have to come and watch on Tuesday rather. Triple Distilled is saying, I actually have a Gibson Nighthawk, but the double mini humbucker one, I wish I had gotten the 3 pickup version, but my one is pretty good. Yeah, it's a very comfortable guitar to play, I will say. and massively versatile, as you will hear on Sunday. Let's have a look, see what I've missed in the chat. Yes. The old guitars was cheaper than a bull worker, says Peter Nichols. I remember bull workers. Yes, they were always advertised in the back pages of News of the World, weren't they? These things that you pulled and pushed to kind of get a body like Charles Atlas. Chris Otterwell, my first electric was an audition, I think, from my mum's catalogue. Horrified to discover that they're on sale on eBay for £200 plus. It was an Ashaw guitar. I'm not sure what that means, mate, but there you go. What else have we got? Gary Arnold saying, my first electric cost about £20 and you needed a vice-like grip to play any chords. I know that story, mate, yeah. The Blues Rockers are saying, I bought a 74 SG, a Marshall Lead 100 and a PV 12-inch speaker cabinet. Well, when did you do that, mate? Was that today? That's quite an impressive rig. Or was that your first rig? Johnny D, who remembers the radiogram? That was a much sought after item of furniture come entertainment. Yes, I remember the radiogram. We inherited one from my grandmother. It was all sort of kind of mahogany and Art Deco and very sort of God, you can tell I've been watching too many episodes of Salvage Hunters, can't you? It was all done in a very Charles Rennie Mackintosh kind of style. I wouldn't know what that meant 5 years ago, but I'm hooked on this antique show on the telly, so there you go. Calby is saying, my first proper lefty electric was a Stag. Dearie me, it was crap. Peter Nicholson's first was a Burns bass. Now that is a good idea, isn't it? For maybe even doing a video on that. Actually, if people send in their pictures of their first guitars. I've had a few like that already. But that will be. It's just got the noggin jogging. I might just have to do a video on that. So if you've got pictures rather of your first guitars, then ping them over to me, and we could do either a kind of viewers guitars special, or we could do some kind of video. Even if you've still got it, like maybe a picture of you with it back in, 1970, whenever it was, and a picture of you with the same guitar. Now, that'd be cool, wouldn't it? Ravensmead, yes. Still waiting for my Sea Monkeys to arrive from you. I remember those adverts for Sea Monkeys. Yeah, there were. And somebody else has mentioned the X-ray specs. In there as well. I remember all those ads, and how to throw your voice as well. That was another course you could send off for in these. I seem to remember they were in the Superman comics and stuff that I occasionally used to get. Paul Heath saying, yes, I've still got it, string missing at more, and still plays. Fair enough. Dr. Gomez, I don't have pictures of my first guitars. I wish I did. My first guitar would have been photographed on a Box Brownie. Yes, I think I still have a Box Brownie camera somewhere kicking around up in the loft. It was my grandparents, and then my mother inherited it from them, and then I sort of inherited it from her. And I'm pretty sure I remember, it's like, well, I can't throw that away. It's just like, but I don't know where it is at the moment. It'll be somewhere knocking around. Lots of comments about X-ray specs, and Sea Monkeys were just brine shrimp, apparently. Gary Arnold saying, you can get a decent guitar for about £100. That wasn't possible in the 70s. No, you're entirely right. One channel I've been watching recently, and I want to say a big shout out to Steve Cassidy for putting me onto this one, is Milehouse Studios. and I watched a couple of videos of him where he kind of did some sort of work on a glary guitar, as he called it. If you're not watching Milehouse Studios, go and check him out. He's a guitar builder, and he's immensely entertaining. So yes, and he was making the same comment, like these Squire. What's the cheap Squire you can get on Amazon? Is it the Debut? They're about just a shade over £100, aren't they? And, Glary is a shade under £100. I haven't been on Toman's website in quite some time because there's nothing I really need to buy from Toman at the moment. So I just, I haven't been on there. I did a couple of weeks ago, but I wasn't looking at cheap guitars. And but I mean, things like the Harley Benton TE20, is it, or ST20? Last time I looked, they were about 70 or 80 quid. And one of my students had the TE20, like the real basic, cheapest Telecaster copy that they make. And yeah, it's a top-loader bridge, and it's ceramic pickups, and the pots are a bit kind of, just cheap and everything. But for a beginner, I mean, out the box, it played absolutely fantastic, and you plug it in, and it sounds fine, and that was about 80 quid, I think he paid for it. That was, oh dear me, when will that have been? 2021, something like that. So probably gone up in price a little bit since then, because everything has. I wonder why, but we won't get into that. But for £100, you can get a guitar that is functional and will play and will make a noise and will sound, reasonably good. Which, as I say, takes us back to the satellite Les Paul copy, doesn't it? Mine, I'll tell you what mine cost. It cost me £80 back in let's call it 1980. It was round about the cusp of that decade. And I bought it out my mother's catalogue, so much per week, paid out my Saturday job. And, it was a step up from the Woolworths top 20, but dear me, when you consider what the equivalent cost would have been in today's money, you're just 80 quid in 1980 for inflation, and that's going to come out so bad. And off the top of my head, that's probably going to be about 400 quid today, is it? 300-400 quid. And, who would pay, let's say, £300 for a plywood guitar these days? But, that's all that was around then. I mean, the market does fluctuate up and down, and prices do go up and down on a monthly and yearly basis. But, undoubtedly the direction of travel for electric guitars and the money that you have to pay for them has been very much in the guitarist's favour since those days. Anyway, I'm just going to finish me beer and think about something to say, and then we'll have a little bit of a look at some pictures of guitars that have been sent in. How about that for a plan? I think that works. Right, let's just top up the lubricant. Yeah, a little bit of news for you. A little bit of news. I do a blog post every Friday for my upper echelon of Patreon supporters. That's and they get some extra video content as well, and hanging out with me on Zoom. It's only £6 a month or $6 a month. I think it's £5.50 or whatever it is. And you get extra video content, a weekly blog, and twice monthly hangout with me and the other lads on Zoom, where it's a little bit like this, but you can all you're all on screen, and you can all kind of talk back, and we can, because it's not publicly broadcast, we don't have to mind our language so much. We can be a little bit more, shall we say, lubricated. Anyway, but yeah, I did a blog post for that blog a couple of weeks back, where I was saying that January is a miserable, cold, skint, broke for our American brethren month, and the one thing for those of us who are earning a living from self-employment in the UK is that January is your tax month, well, you've got since the previous April to do it, but I'm like the kid that always used to leave his homework until the last minute on the Sunday evening. And I'm like that filling in my tax return. Anyway, long story short, I filled in my tax return a couple of weeks ago, and I had a healthy amount saved up to pay for my contribution to the world-class public services that we get in this country. And anyway, got to the final page of the tax return, and I didn't owe as much as I thought I was going to, so I'm having a new guitar. That's the end of it. That's the end result. And it's going to be a new guitar, courtesy of a certain local luthiery company. Yes, Mr. Agrajag is going to build me a guitar. I'm in the queue. There's a waiting list, but I don't mind waiting. Oh, Jimmy, James, you are a gentleman, sir. Beer and guitar fund, whichever gets the priority. It's Friday, so beer is always the priority on a Friday. It's if I'm going to be honest. So yes, thank you so much, Jimmy. Ian Mason saying, "Do I detect sarcasm there?" Who, me? Anyway. Yeah, so Mr. Agrajag, James at Agrajag, has put me on his waiting list for a guitar build, and that's all I'm going to say at the moment. It will be, let's put it this way, you will not be surprised when you see what kind of guitar it's going to be. I'm going to be doing a video about this that's going to go into more detail about what sort of specs I'm going to ask for and everything. But if you're expecting, a gold sparkle Jazzmaster with, kind of mother of pearl inlays all up and down the neck and a Floyd Rose trem, then you don't know me that well. It's going to be nothing like that. Budget pedal chap saying it's definitely T-shaped. Yes, indeed. You got me on that one. Jay Marshall is saying, what brand of liquid are you imbibing? By the way, did you know Holsworth? He could talk about ale and brewing forever. No, I thought I mentioned this at the top of the video. It's Carlsberg Export, mate. That's what I'm on tonight. Not my first choice of tipple. If I'm in a public house, a licensed establishment that has good hand-pulled, cask-conditioned traditional English ale of some variety, that will always be my first choice. But I don't like that kind of beer when you put it into a can or a bottle. I think it ruins it. So I drink, when I'm at home, I drink beer that is designed to be put into a can and is brewed for that flavour. And there's my phone pinging. Let me just see what that was. I have a feeling I know who it is. Oh, no. It's just, your device has great new features. Check them out. No, I won't. Go away. Right, you're going on silent. Shut up. Anyway, the Blues Rockers is saying, are you a dark ale person? I don't really judge it by colour, to be honest with you. I do, I like a nice IPA if there's one there. But equally, I'm quite a fan of something like Old Peculiar or Old Speckled Hen. But they're not a beer to kind of to get started on if you've got all evening, are they? Really? Have you tried embalming fluid, says Mr. Chris. I will one day, mate, but still above ground. Doc Alders is saying tortoiseshell pickguard. That might just be in the mix. Anyway, shall we have a look at some pictures of guitars that have been sent in over the previous few days? Where do I need to go? Here, that's where I need to go. And share screen. And then that's the fella there. There we go. Right. This is Austin Barrett's Tanglewood Dreadnought. Bit of a blurry picture, but I think we get the idea. Good, solid, dependable kind of workhorse acoustic guitar by all accounts. And Tanglewood. I remember when Tanglewood guitars first kind of started making an appearance in the early 90s. That's the first time I encountered them. And they were dog rough, but, they've really, really upped their game. And, it's in terms of like budget guitars, I think they are, one of the better ones you can find. Then what have we got here? This is Len McIver's new kind of pedal. We've seen pictures of this rig before. Len's got the Jim's 45 into the orange power amp there, pedal platform amp, and an orange cab. Are we detecting a theme going on here? And this is the Behringer 69 vibe, which is like, basically a Leslie cabinet in a box. Yeah, I did think about trying one of those out, but I've got a pretty good Leslie simulator in the in Guitar Rig, and that just always suffices for me. And I can run it in stereo, which is nice. And then we've got another Len McIver acquisition. This is his Fender TC90. This is a guitar that's a bit weird, I think, to me anyway, because it looks somehow familiar, but I could swear blind I have never seen that body shape on a Fender before. That's a new one on me. I don't ever remember seeing like a double cutaway Telecaster. What sort of pickups have we got in there? Oh yeah, they look like sort of rail type humbuckers, maybe rail type mini humbuckers. They do look a bit kind of tiny, but yeah, it looks like it's a guitar that should look familiar to me, but it just doesn't. A bit of a contradiction there, but mighty fine looking beast it is. And Len tells me it's got the requisite Telecaster clank and spank that you expect from any guitar with that, or roughly that body shape. Moving on, what have we got here? This is Mr. Chris's Ashton guitar. And that's about all I know about it. Looks like, kind of a HSH, kind of budget end Strat style guitar. I bet with a bit of fettling, if it needed it, that would play pretty nice. And, you've got a lot of sonic possibilities there with that pickup configuration, haven't you? Then another Mr. Chris. This is Mr. Chris, as you can probably tell, is a southpaw, and this is his Harley Benton DC 120 electroacoustic. Mr. Chris has something of a penchant for an acoustic guitar, it has to be said. I would say, like the majority of pictures that we've had off Mr. Chris, not by a huge margin, but I do recall off the top of my head seeing lots of pictures of acoustics from you, Mr. Chris. So have a tot up and tell us how many you own. Then another Mr. Chris guitar, again an Ibanez, which is pretty much the same sort of spec as that Ashton we've just seen there, HSH Strat kind of thing. And this is the G. Is it the GO10? Yeah, that's it. Of course, it says GO10 on there. How blind am I? I couldn't see it was written right across the middle of the picture there. Anyway, another Mr. Chris guitar. This is his Les Paul Semi. Now, let's have a look at the name on that headstock. Is that Westfield or something like that? It looks a bit like that logo. Can't quite make out the lettering. But yeah, that's Gibson did a model years ago, I seem to remember, where it was like a semi-hollow Les Paul as a one-off. I think did they call it the Florentine Les Paul? Correct me if I'm wrong, but I definitely remember seeing some kind of limited run Les Paul from Gibson that was that probably inspired this very guitar. And then we've got Theme Tunes, Mr. Theme Tunes. This is his Epiphone Biscuit, and he actually sent me a recording of this guitar in action. What does it sound like? It sounds exactly like what you expect it to sound like. It's a good, solid kind of resonator kind of sound. Basically, if you're in the business of playing Romeo and Juliet by Dire Straits for example, or any of those kind of famous Mark Knopfler tunes where he used a resonator or anything, a bit of old blues, jack the action up and play a bit of bottleneck on it. That is going to be quite the tool to use, I would suspect. And that is your lot for this evening, chaps and chapesses. That is the viewers' guitar gallery for today. I am really low on stock for that, so if you want to see this feature next week on the live stream, then you better send me some pictures. I think I've got 2 left in stock, so we burn through them at quite some rate. I might start limiting them to maybe doing 6 per live stream. I was doing sort of 10 or 12 at one point, and I think that's why I burned through them quite so quickly. And no viewers' tales this week. Nobody has contacted me with an interesting story about... I don't think they have. Apologies if you've emailed me and I've forgotten. It's not beyond the realm of possibility. If I have, email me again and call me a bald old double-chinned northern fool. But because, let's face it, it would not be inaccurate to do so. So yeah, if you've got any stories of a rock and roll nature, some kind of brush with fame, you met someone famous, you were, you got an autograph and they said something either massively funny or massively inappropriate. I don't care how true it is, as long as it's got a kernel of truth in there, I'll read it out. The main thing, it's got to be entertaining. Mr. Chris is saying, I've 8 acoustics, John. Have I a problem? No, I think you're in sleep. I'd start worrying once you get into double figures with acoustics, mate. An acoustic guitar for me, I think I knew when I started playing. When I got my first ever steel string Student K Folk acoustic, I think I knew that it was... Well, yeah, but at some point I'm going to have an electric guitar because I want an electric guitar. Because that was, Hank Marvin, was always my idol as I was growing up. Before Hank Marvin, my childhood idol was Barry Sheen. I was going to be 500cc World Motorbike Championship when I was convinced of that when I was 8 years old. And what put me off motorbikes? Getting on one. Oh dear me! I thought, no, that's not for me. Thank you very much. Damn thing's trying to kill me. So I then switched my attention to guitars by the time I was 11, and and Hank Marvin became... Well, I'd always loved the Shadows right from being an early a toddler, but it was that was where my focus kind of landed, and I thought I always knew I'm always going to be an electric guitarist. I didn't even own an acoustic again until... Gosh, it was probably about... I'm going to say it was probably about 2016 was when I got that blonde acoustic you can see there, which is currently in... And that was the first acoustic guitar I'd owned since 1979. I'd gone that long without owning an acoustic guitar. I don't think I had any in the meantime. I might be wrong. I'll have to just kind of have a bit of a court of thinking about that one and do that video about all the guitars that I've owned. Anyway, what am I missing in the chat? Triple Distilled is saying, Barry Sheen, my countryman. Yes, I had the little... was it Matchbox or Corgi or something, the little die-cast model of the whole Suzuki team, Barry Sheen, Pat Hennon, and all the rest of them, and I had like a little kind of display thing in my bedroom, and it was, fantastic. John Max saying, I see at NAMM Sire doing a fan fret headless guitar. Good for them. It doesn't surprise me that they're trying to break into that market because, they've got a lot of praise for their 335 style guitars, their Strat style guitars, their Tele style guitars, and their Les Paul style guitars. I had a Sire L7 that I got from our friend Edwin, Mr. Toonen there, who is currently in Munich. And do you know, it was an absolutely drop dead gorgeous guitar to play and to look at, but it was always just the sound. It just sounded a bit too thin. And I thought, shall I spend money on this and put pickups into it, or shall I just move it on? I ended up moving it on. But, you know, you can't take it away from them. That sort of traditional end of the guitar market, they do fantastic value and incredible quality, you know. And I mean, Larry Carlton himself actually takes a Sire guitar out on the road with him and tours with it. So if it's good enough for Larry, then, you know, who am I to complain? Who am I to bitch about it? So that traditional end of the market, they've got that sewn up. It's so, you know, I can see what they're doing. That they're kind of going after the, you know, the drop-tuned kind of heavier. I don't even know what gent is as a genre. I just hear the word kind of mentioned from time to time. Not an aficionado of it, don't pretend to be, but I guess that's the sort of market they're going for, you know, 7 strings, fan fret, the kind of people that will, you know, listen to Tosin Abassi and understand what's going on, because frankly I don't. Fantastic musician, but I don't get it. I just really don't. You know, can I just listen? Can I just pretend it's 1976 and listen to some Camel? That's essentially where I'm at, I'm afraid. What else am I missing? Let's scroll up a bit and then I'll try and catch up with the newer comments. Jay Aoyong's never played a resonator. I briefly had a go on one because an erstwhile commenter in this stream here, Bottleneck Bob, haven't heard from him in quite a while. Wonder what he's up to. But you know, he visited us one time and brought his, I think, was it 1 or 2 of his resonators? There's a video up on my channel of me kind of demoing it, and there's some clips of Bob playing it as well. Right, what am I? Boulder 64, the Evil Knievel toy was brilliant. Yes, I had that as well. You know, and it was always on World of Sport on a Sunday afternoon, wasn't it? You know, Evil Knievel at Wembley Stadium jumping some double-decker buses or whatever. It was probably only on a couple of times, but I seem to remember it being a feature of 70s Saturday afternoons. Let's have a look. We got Rexomatic. Greetings from LA at the NAMM show, trying out as many guitars and heading to Dyer and that'll be Sire and Yamaha this morning. Well, file some reports there, Rexomatic. Interested to know what you think of it. I'm going to be doing a bit of a blog post for, as I say, the upper echelon of the Patreon supporters about NAMM. And it's just striking the balance right for what I want to say. But basically, it's an important trade show. I get it. It's like the sort of world focus for the guitar industry. But do you not think, am I just being a bit of a grumpy old man here? Do you not think that some companies, they struggle to kind of get a new product just because NAMM is happening, you know? And it's like, oh, and we've got this, and we've got this model now, which is now available in this exciting new colour. Yeah, but still the same guitar that was out last year, though, isn't it? You know, and I don't know. I just think maybe if it was to go every 2 years, perhaps it would be, you know, there'd be more time for companies to come up with more innovative things rather than having, you know, just some new kind of thing to have a big fanfare about it, just because it's sort of expected. Anyway, where are we? Let's have a look. Peter Nicholson is saying, where's he gone? Where's he gone? There he is. My dad was on World of Sport every other week. Wrestler Al Nickel. Oh, nice one, mate. I think I remember him. Yeah, World of the wrestling on a Saturday afternoon. Tally Hoke, Kendo Nagasaki, Les Kellett, Mick McManus, Big Daddy, of course, and Giant Haystacks. Yes. I've come to the conclusion, though. I've come to the conclusion that some of the outcomes of those wrestling matches might have been predetermined. Just saying. Let's have a wee look. Cal B and the Rocco Cat. Nam is like car shows, same crap for 4 years, then they change colours. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm just being a bit cynical and a bit miserable. Who? Me? But, it's just... I think the other thing as well is because if you watch YouTube, it's just Nam video after Nam video after Nam video after Nam video. And you think, yeah, I'm going to watch something else now. It just gets, it just starts to get a little bit samey. Anyway, we've got Pablo Hankin. I'm late from work. So nice to see you, mate. Anyway, I'm just going to finish this beer off because I'm only halfway down my second beer and we're 3/4 of the way through the stream. Right, let's top up another one and let's see if I can finish this one before the end of the hour. Hey, dear me, this beer mug that my wife got me for Christmas is fantastic. It does keep the beer absolutely properly cold. It keeps it at fridge temperature, just forever, basically. But what I've discovered is it does slow me down. Johnny D is saying, almost dry January. Dry January, my hole. I'm never... It's just, that's just the British puritanical mindset at its worst, isn't it? That kind of that Cromwellian, because Oliver Cromwell, he ruled over us for a little while, didn't he? And he actually banned Christmas. And I think the law that went on the statute book under his kind of regime has never been rescinded. He actually outlawed Christmas, and that sort of goes deep into the psyche of a lot of British people. It's like, oh no, fun is bad. How can we make January more miserable? Let's tell people not to have a beer. Yeah, good luck with that in this house. Dr. Gomez won. I'm with you on that one. Ravensmead, yes. The grannies hitting haystacks with their handbags. Yes, indeed. It was all part of the Saturday afternoon fun as you were kind of, waiting to see how Doctor Who got out of the scrape that he ended up in at the end of the last episode, because it was always on, like, I always remember it was the wrestling, then the pools results, and then you got into sort of Doctor Who, and then it was Brucey in the Generation Game, a bit of Mike Yarwood, bit of Val Doonican, match of the day, bed. That was that used to be Saturday evening, wasn't it? Theme tunes. I'm not on board with cutting out the cakes and ale, but I'm with him on banning Christmas. I like Christmas. I genuinely do. I used to prefer it when it was in December, but it's these days when it kind of starts round about the end of August. I'm not joking there, by the way. I used to, as a musician, you have good and bad years, and during some of the kind of leaner times, I've taken on like an extra job, one of which was a store cleaner in a well-known UK chain of pharmacies and kind of chemist shops. Boots, that's what I was. I don't know why I'm being coy about that. And they used to start doing the Christmas promotions in the last week of August. That's when they'd start just kind of putting kind of gift ideas out and stuff like that. So literally from the end of August, last week of August, and then it just used to kind of get ramped up gradually until, the end of November, when it was just full on, it's Christmas, so I just... I like it, but I don't like the fact that it just seems to kind of have bloated and expanded. Where are we? Jerry White, what you saying there, mate? Had the classic rock instrument out in the classroom supply teaching today. The recorder, I veered off the curriculum and got them playing Eye of the Tiger. Oh, I'd have paid to see that, mate. I'd have paid to see that. Triple Distilled is saying, you just described my Saturdays as a kid. Yep, I remember that. It's all coming back to me now. John Mack saying, I think the new Tonex FR cab sounds interesting. Yeah, a bit pricey though, isn't it? For what is essentially just, a speaker cab. Okay, so it's a flat response, full range, or is it full range, flat response? I always forget which way around the FR and the FR go. I just look at the prices and I'm thinking, yeah, that's I wouldn't be happy paying that. Doc Alders saying, I bought Easter eggs on sale on 27th of December as late Christmas presents. Good for you, mate. Rexomatic is, if you love guitars, NAMM is amazing. I got to meet Chris Martin, Lloyd Baggs, Mr. Godin, Greg and Jamie Deering, Tom Anderson, and so on. Even got to compare my own Rockman to the new MXR Rockman 100. I've got to tell you, I'm not really a pedals kind of guy, as you saw from that video a couple of weeks ago. I have got a new pedal to try out, though. I haven't unboxed it yet. Thanks to a very generous person in the chat tonight. I'll say no more until the video comes out. But yeah, that MXR Rockman pedal has got me kind of, as soon as I heard a couple of demos of it, I heard Lee Fuge, heard his demo of it, and who else was it? Can't remember. Some other guitar YouTuber. Everybody's kind of doing videos about it at the moment. As soon as I heard it, I thought, oh yes, that's a sound from my younger days. That Tom Scholz Rockman sound. And I love the fact that it's just like basically on and off. Nothing to mess with. No menus to scroll through. No touch screens. No app connecting to your phone where you got like a bazillion choices. I might just see if I can get me paws on one of those and have a little bit of a play around with it. I'm sure I could use it. Might even make an appearance on the new album that I'm doing. Did I mention I'm doing a new album? I might have done. Where are we? Jay Young, what are you saying there, mate? Anyone managed to snag any gear from the Jeff Beck collection? Wouldn't even have been able to afford his gig bag. Well, I mentioned a guitar that is I'm currently on the waiting list for. That might have a little bit of a Jeff Beck kind of vibe going on, but I didn't even watch the auction, because it's like, well, A, I was busy working. I was busy in lessons at the time, and B, it's like even if I watch it on like catch up, it's just going to be, yeah. It's going to depress me, the fact that it's that is a world I don't belong in, with guitars that will be going for those kind of prices. Let's have a look, see what I've missed earlier in the chat. Where are we? Triple Distilled is saying Monty Python and Dave Allen, don't forget those. Yes, I wasn't allowed to watch Monty Python. My parents didn't approve, so I used to sneak off to bed and watch it on the portable TV in my bedroom, which is why my memories of a lot of Monty Python stuff is in black and white, because the first time I saw them was in black and white with those little kind of single earpieces in mono that sounded absolutely awful, but it was all you had at the time. Jimmy James is saying also January's veganuary, no meat. Well, okay. It's a lifestyle choice, I suppose. It's not one I've made, but it's none of my business what other people choose to kind of do. It's what you put into your body or don't put into your body is entirely a matter for you, and I don't think it's anybody else's business. And I'm going to be possibly a little bit controversial here, let alone the government's business to tell you what that should be. But that's just my two penneth. My knees hurt to sing. What about Benny Hill? I only caught a few of those shows. I rather enjoyed it when he chased the ladies around. Yes, Benny Hill. Now, there's somebody that would not have anything like the career today for quite obvious reasons, if you've ever seen Benny Hill. But it's, it was only sort of later, when pretty much after he'd gone off TV, because I think he wasn't on TV from about the late 80s onwards, where he just basically couldn't get shows on. And I remember watching repeats and seeing stuff that I'd seen as a kid and didn't get the jokes, and then when you're about 19 and you see something that you last saw when you were 7 or 8 and you didn't get the jokes the first time round, you're 19. Oh, that's a bit close to the bone, isn't it? A bit close to the knuckle. And there's the Lamb. And just as in the dying moments of the game, nice to see you, mate. Any of you lads with the blue spanner in your next to your name there, you're all YouTubers. Feel free to chuck your links in the chat. That's the point of the blue spanner. And let's have a look. See what else I've missed in the chat. Jerry White saying been listening to the best of Essential Jerry Rafferty album a bit recently. Some great tunes beyond the usual suspect. Sadly missed musician. Jerry Rafferty is one of those guys where you think, yeah, Baker Street, yeah, all right, well, yeah, Baker Street, and then Night Owls. And then Baker Street and then Night Owls, and get it right next time. And it's like the more you listen to him, you think, yeah, I remember that one. Yeah, that's great. And then you go back into the Steelers Wheel stuff as well. And he's one of those artists where you don't realise how many great tunes he had until you hear them and remember them and think, yeah. Because I think Baker Street casts a long shadow over everything, doesn't it? Where are we? You're welcome, Lammy. Don't mention it. Oh, nice one, Lammy. Thank you so much. You're a gentleman and a scholar, sir. That will go in the beer fund. And, we're coming up to 59 minutes into the stream. So we've all had a beer or two. So there's probably some business that we have to take care of, go to the recycled beer department. That's certainly what I need to head off to in just a second. Tell you what, how long have we got? Yeah, let's chug this down before the end of the stream. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, go. And there it was, gone, right before your very eyes. Right, I'll let you all head off now and go and watch Steve Cassidy, Starcaster unboxing, and I'll see you all same time next week. Thank you once again for turning up and watching a fat, bald northern lad talk absolute bollocks for an hour. It's been a blast, and I'll keep on doing it till you're sick of me. But for now, time, gentlemen, please.